Hi, this is Kimberly. Welcome back to this corner of the kingdom. I am a nurse. Husband is a pastor, and we live here in the beautiful Catskills in New York. We are a cash stuffing family, budgeting family, working to pay off our car and our mortgage as quickly as we can, while still being good stewards of the many blessings that God has given us. And so I wanted to start today by saying happy late Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday. We did have a lovely Ash Wednesday service last night at our church. And so today we're back to cash stuffing. This is probably going to be my new normal, I think, for the amount of money that I stuff every 2 weeks with my paycheck, because I have started pulling cash out for things like groceries and gas, which is somewhat new to us. We do a lot of shopping online. My main grocery order is always online, so the grocery money that I pull out is really just for incidentals that we might need along the way in between grocery shopping trips. And so we will just get right into it. So the amount that I have to stuff today is $930. And I do want to give a shout out to Taylor on A Little Bit of Everything, who came up with these ideas for this nice little trays to use for sorting your money. She did get him at Dollar Tree, and she has a really cute video where she talks about the different DIYs that you can do with items from the Dollar Tree to certainly help to save on your budget. So I will just take a moment and set this up quickly into these trays. She has a lot of other really cute ideas as well, like making budgeting binders and so forth, which I happen to already have, so I haven't had to do that. But I did really like the idea for the tray to sort money. So this will be my first week or second stuffing using the cash with our gas and grocery money and buffer money. So my plan is to pull out the ones that are left to go with my penny challenge, except for my giving envelope, which will always be rolled over and added to every week. So for this week, we do have $2 left over in gas, so we will put that to the side. My outreach has $25 remaining, which Bob and I have agreed to budget $25 a week. So that will not come out. That will simply roll over. I will not be stuffing outreach this week because I did make a contribution online. Our group has been very blessed to have an inside space where we can set up for our weekly outreach in Poughkeepsie. But there is a rent attached to it, so all the volunteers are kicking in to try to keep that space available for us. In spending, I have nothing left. Bank is where I put money that goes back to the bank, so there is nothing in there. In buffer, I think we do have a little bit left. We do $4 in buffer. And in groceries, we still have $10 remaining, so that will simply roll over for next week. Giving, I'm delighted to say I was able to help somebody out this week who was in need, so that is empty, so we will be refilling that. So I also wanted to show you, I made up these little cards, and these are basically all of my envelopes listed, and then I went across and just used pencil to fill in how many of each denomination I will need. And my plan is maybe to make some slightly better ones now that I see that they have worked out, but then every week I will simply erase these numbers and fill in whatever my new numbers are. So starting with my wallet today, I'm just going to keep those cards over to the side as my little cheat sheet so I remember what I'm doing. Gas will be getting $40 in my wallet, and I will put the remainder of the cash into the larger envelope that I keep here at home. So $20.40 for gas. outreach, as I said, I will not be stuffing because that will simply carry over. Spending will get $10 this week. So it now has 10. The bank, of course, stays empty. Buffer, I will also put $10 in there. And groceries, as I mentioned, I will simply carry that over till next week. Giving, I will put 5 ones back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we had kind of a unusual week last week. I went to a different corner of the kingdom, down to where our kids live, which is a little bit closer to the city, because one of the grand boys had to have surgery. And so I babysat the other grand boy for a few days, and then helped out when the bigger guy came home from the hospital, and I'm happy to report he is doing much better. So we are certainly grateful for that blessing this week. Okay, moving on to my holiday binder. And as I mentioned before, Valentine's/Easter, obviously Valentine's Day has passed us by. And we don't really do much for Valentine's Day, but I will be gearing up to do Easter baskets for the kids as well as Easter dinner. So this envelope already has 25 in it, and it will be getting 25 more. So I'm going to call this just Easter now, and so now it has 20, 40, 45, and 50. So that's a great start for that holiday coming up. Moving on to the summer holidays, as I mentioned, I do like to put some in here to fill our propane tank, perhaps get some new yard, lawn furniture, maybe prep for some barbecues. I'll be putting 10 in there because we do have a little time before the summer is upon us. So summer holidays now has $20. Food, this is for our Thanksgiving and Christmas feasts. Again, it's a bit of a long way off, but it's never too early to start saving for those budget busters that can come along with big holiday meals. I'll be putting 10 in there, so now this has $30. Christmas event, as I mentioned before, my sister and I are able to gather our respective families at a central place and have a nice meal. Enjoy each other's company, open some presents, and so we are already planning for that event for next year, and so I will be putting $25 in here. So that's 20 and 5. So now Christmas event has 20, 30, 35, 40, and $45. Sherry and I did split the cost of that event so that we could treat our respective children and grandchildren. It was quite an amazing day. Quite a lot of people, so it's good to budget in advance for that. And Christmas shopping, I am budgeting $150 each paycheck of my paychecks towards our Christmas shopping. We do have 7 children, 9 grandchildren, so we have a lot of people to buy for. So putting 150 in there. Christmas now has 100, 200, 250, 3, and 350. Okay, and that finishes our holiday binder. Moving on to, I call this my birthday or my family binder. It does have birthday gifts in it, as well as a few other things. I have divided our birthdays up. If you're new to my channel, I've divided up into 3 envelopes. So this is January, February, March, and April. I do still have a few birthdays. 1 more in February, and then I have 2 in March. I did pull money out of here for the earlier birthdays, so this envelope is now empty. So today this will be getting $75. So that's 50, 70, and 5. So birthday envelope number 1 now has $75 in it. Moving on to birthday envelope number 2, which is the May, June, July birthdays. This already has $15 in it, and so today I will be adding 10 more. So it now has $25. These are new to us, so I'm really hoping these work out. I've been pleased thus far being able to use that for the birthdays that have passed. I'm not entirely sure if I have the numbers quite right for each envelope per month, but we're going to kind of adjust as we go. Birthday number 3 has $5 in it, and I'll be adding 10 to that today, so it has $15 now. And this envelope will cover our September, October, November, December birthdays. There are far less of those, so I'm not stuffing that as aggressively. Moving on to education, as I've mentioned before, we have a grandson in college. We have a granddaughter taking college level courses as a senior in high school. And then we have some littles who are in school in general. So we do stuff this envelope every pay to try to help out with the expenses associated with that. Granddaughter will also have prom expenses coming up. So this is kind of a catch-all for the grandchildren. So I'll be adding 60 to that today. And so while it says education, because ultimately that's our plan, is to use it for college expenses, help out with lunch money with littles, etc., it can cover a lot of things. So this now has $20, $40, $60, $80, and $100. We did take some money out. Our grandson in college had an away volleyball game. He was actually in Penn State last weekend, so we pulled that out, and then we did put some money in one of the other little guys' lunch accounts. Okay, let me just flip over here to my other card. So clothing today only has 5 in it. We've recently started to restuff this, and I'll be adding 10. So clothing now has $15. Health is not getting anything today, only because I'm not sure what I'm doing with this envelope yet. So we will kind of sit on this for a couple of weeks until I decide if I'm going to continue using this or if I'm going to kind of roll this over into something else. Beauty, as I mentioned before, it's not necessarily beauty, but Bob and I both need haircuts at various times, and I certainly need a haircut coming up here very soon. So it has 20 in it. I'll be adding 20 to it, and that almost has me covered for my haircuts with $40 in that envelope. Gas, this is the balance of the money for gas for the car, and I qualify that because we do use propane here to cook. So I do have a propane gas envelope as well. This envelope is empty, and so this will be getting the other $40 of the $80 that we budget per week for gas. I do have a long commute to work, so we do use a lot of gas in this house. And this is groceries. This is a backup again to my wallet. I did not have to go into here this week, so this has 20, and we will simply carry that over. This is not our main grocery money. This is simply run to the store in between if something comes up. And that is the end of that binder. So moving on to this one, and I realized this iridescent one looks kind of funky on camera, but we're going to go with it for now. Okay, this is kind of a long-term bills binder, and so here you will see oil. If you watched my last video, you know that I did have some money in here. However, it's post our new furnace installation, we did have to get some more oil, so this is empty now. So this will be getting its usual $65, which is what I put in every pay, so that when those oil bills come, it's not quite as challenging. So that's 50, 60, and 5. So we will start to refill that again, and hopefully warmer weather will be upon us, and we can really get that stocked up until the cold weather comes back again next year. I don't know where you all live, but I'm wondering if you had snow this week. We did have some. The kids down in the city, which is where I was, had a lot more. So kind of odd to be in the wrong spot for that particular snowstorm. This, as I mentioned, is gas. I have utilities gas on here because this is actually our propane, which we do not fill very often at all. So I will not be stuffing this every week. But I did want to get it started because we did just get propane not that long ago. We certainly don't go through a lot of propane because it's only for cooking. And so propane now has $20, $40, and $50. And then we go on to Terminex. We do have a contract with Terminex. We live, as I mentioned, in the Catskills, so we do have things like ticks. I have chronic Lyme disease, so I'm a little funny about trying to keep those little critters away from my house and my kids and my grandkids when they visit. So we have a standing contract with Terminex. This does have 20 in. I'll be adding 20 more. So Terminex now has 40. They did take care of a terrible infestation of ladybugs for us. Last year, I was shocked to learn that ladybugs are considered one of the most invasive and damaging species that there are. They also removed a bee's nest for us, so they have been quite helpful. Lawn maintenance. This is for mowing in the summer, and it is for plowing in the winter. We have this amazing man who plows our driveway. He also is gracious enough to shovel our walks for us, because Bob and I both have backs that don't permit that. So there is 120 in there. I'll be adding 50, so now this has 100, 50, and 70. We did get, like I said, a dusting of snow, and I didn't know we were supposed to get more snow, but sure enough, snow like showers blew in as I was coming home from work today. So I'm not sure what's out there now. I sure hope it's not a ton, but I guess we will see. This is our car maintenance envelope. I know that our car is shortly going to need tires, so I've tried to start to stock this up. It does have 40 in it, and so this week it will be getting 25 more. So that's 20 and 5. Car maintenance now has 20, 40, 60, and 5. May have to start adding a little more to that going forward. We'll see. Housing. So I talked on my last video that I wasn't sure what I was doing with this, because this is our house maintenance, and I wasn't entirely sure what that was going to go for. But what I'm thinking is we do have a septic tank, and at some point, not imminently, but we will have to get that emptied. That this might be a good fund for that. And so this does have $30 in it, so I'm going to add 10 more to that today. So it now has 20, 30, and 40. We haven't had to have that septic tank emptied yet, since it had been emptied just before we bought this house, which was in January of 21. So that's something I'm going to kind of explore and see what the cost might be expected to be on that. Entertainment is our Prime subscription. I've already stuck this envelope for the month, so it does not get anything else today. And debt, I'm going to come back to this in a minute, so I'm just going to put this binder over to the side for now. And moving on to our last binder. This is sinking funds, kind of unexpected bills type sinking funds, I guess you would say. So this is not unexpected. This is simply a pet sinking fund, and this is for pet supplies, which are not like a regular bill, but we do need cat litter, cat treats, cat food. So this is primarily for the cat litter, because that is our biggest expense. The cat food and the treats usually come out of our, we call it our grocery budget. It's really our entire household budget for grocery, household items, toiletries, and pet supplies. So pets will now have $15 in there. We did start this pet emergency fund. This is again new to us, and so I'd like to get it kind of beefed up here. It does have $25 in, and we'll be adding 10 to that today. So pet emergency has 20, 30, and 5. We do have 5 little fur babies in this house. They all say meow. Hoping we don't have emergencies coming up with them, but you never know. This I call goals, and my goal is to put a pool in my yard. I am hopeful to make it happen this summer. I do not know for a fact that that will happen, but we are sure as heck going to try. So that right now has 100, 250, 350, and 75, and this will be getting $100 today. So pool now has 1, 2, 3, 354, 450, 470, 75. So that's a nice little start to hopefully get something nice to enjoy in the summer with the kids and grandkids. I haven't even done any looking to see price-wise what that will involve, but never hurts to save. This says savings. This is actually not a savings per se. This is what I call my house emergency fund, meaning the emergency money that I have here at the house. And I consider this to be separate from money that would be in the bank in the event of a job loss or something like that. Though it does have 50, I am trying to get this back up to 1,000. So we are now at 150 for this envelope. Home remodel. I think I mentioned the last time. I don't know exactly what this is going to be. I'm thinking that it might be for painting, possibly getting laminate flooring. It has nothing in it right now, so we're going to give it a start with $10, and we will see where that goes over the coming year. And I believe I somehow ended up with $10 extra, and I'm wondering, I had put that I was going to put $10 in my grocery envelope in my wallet, but I did not need that. So this is going to go back, and we will add this into my emergency fund so we can get that beefed up a little quicker. So this now has $160 in it. Okay, now that finishes the binders per se. But I did want to go back to this money that I have set aside from my wallet. I also have a bunch of change in my wallet I did forget to take out. One thing I do is I always keep 4 quarters in the wallet, because when we do street outreach, we sometimes have to park where there's meters. So I like to be sure that we always have 4 quarters put aside for that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Those will go right back in to feed the meter. And then I will show you what I am going to do with the money from my leftovers from this week. So as you know, I'm doing the penny challenge. And so for last week and this week, I hope you're able to see this. I'll try to get it in frame. So for last week, beginning February 4th, I owe my jar $2.26. That's simply adding up the money from each day. So for example, February 4th is a 35th day, so that's 35 cents, 36 cents, etc. And for the week that we are in right now, I owe my penny jar $3.15. So I added those two together, and I got $5.41. So that's the first thing we'll be putting into my penny jar challenge. So I'm going to actually use some of my change first, because I'll show you what I want to do with the other ones that I have left. So this is and this will make sense in a minute. I'm just going to put these quarters aside for the moment. So we will do $5.41. Yep, that's going to work. Okay, so I have $1 here in change. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 41 is 10, 20, 30, and 40, and a penny. So $5.41, and that finishes up last week and this week for my penny jar challenge. So we'll put that in there. And then the other thing that I did, and I am going to actually put this back in my wallet and carry that over to next week to see what we can use it for, was I thought I only had $2.16 left, and maybe I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is $2.16. So I have $2 in quarters and 16 cents in change. And so I Googled, because I haven't counted all the days out in my date book yet, and I found out that this year The 216th day of the year is August the 17th. So I will be feeding the jar and crossing out. I may have to cross out in a minute because I think I misplaced my pen. August the 17th. And so I'm trying to kind of jump around in this challenge and cross out some of the larger amounts. As I mentioned last time, I've already started some of the largest amounts, which are in December, so that it's not quite the burden at the end of the year that it could be. So that is our penny challenge. So that jar is filling up nicely, needless to say. And then I still do have 2 ones left here, and so I will be taking that. And as I mentioned, this debt envelope is new to us. And I thought that I would start to feed some money into this to just throw towards our debt and see by the end of the year what we might have there extra. So we will just put our ones in there. I'm planning only to use just ones for this, just as kind of a separate little challenge. Okay, and so that completes our envelope stuffing for this week. And I, as always, like to leave you with a scripture verse to think about. And so it's been kind of a challenging week for us health-wise, as far as I mentioned, my little grandson and Bob is also struggling with a very bad hip. And so it's helpful to know that you're never alone in your corner of the kingdom. And so today I am remembering from the book of Philippians 4:13, where it says, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and have a great evening.